Welcome to AI for You. Today's use case focuses on overcoming writer's block using AI as a collaborative writing partner. Many higher education professionals struggle with content creation, whether it's crafting emails, writing website copy, developing marketing materials, or creating social media content. Instead of staring at blank pages, establish an approach to working with AI as your writing partner. When you encounter writer's block, don't just ask AI to write content for you. Instead, use it to help you think through your ideas and overcome specific obstacles. The prompt in today's show notes will help you break through common writing challenges by using AI to help you brainstorm different angles for your ideas for your content. In this episode, we talk with Carrie Pitts Densmore, the Vice President of Enrollment and Marketing at Johnston Community College. Let's dive right in. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show today, Carrie.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
So, start off by telling me a little bit about how you're integrating AI into your work at Johnston Community College.
Yeah, so we use Element 451 as our CRM, and we have built 10 AI agents inside of that system. So we have really built a team of AI agents that can help us in our work. But more than helping us in our work, it helps our students because, our enrollment grew since 2021 60%. And we are funded in arrears. We did not get to hire 60% more people on the student services side. And so it's been really helpful to have those agents be able to answer questions for certain things like our dual enrollment or financial aid or admissions. We also have a phone agent through the system. So if you call, you can use our automated system. So that really helps in answering questions that are not complex that the students need to have answered. And also we use it to write email campaigns and things inside there. So really that's how we're using it from an enrollment standpoint.
And do you find that that has saved your team in time from answering all of those calls?
So we actually know that over the last year, it has saved more than 120,000 human minutes, which is phenomenal. But I always say that really those are minutes that we wouldn't have been able to help our students the previous year.
Yeah, so you still have the same number of people on your team.
Mhm.
Now they just get to answer the more complicated, difficult questions.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what was what's your AI journey been like? Were you an early adopter or were you hesitant to, jump into this space? How did you feel when, you first started thinking about using these chatbots?
I am an early adopter of things because I'm not scared of trying it. And I always tell my team that we really don't know how something's going to work or what it's going to do for us until we try. It's kind of like a science experiment, right? I mean, if you don't try it out and have a hypothesis and think you know what's going to happen, you aren't going to know what's going to happen. So I am all about, trying things, experimenting. I tell them to do the same thing. You can't mess it up too badly, but even if you do, I'm okay with trying and messing up and failing forward, right? Even from a social media aspect back in 2008, I was an early adopter of that and taught other people how to use it for marketing, integrate video into that because I'm just ready to try the next thing. I love a challenge and I love learning. I've learned so much. Like I've made a custom GPT. I did that to help write a website. I just love it. And I know that not everyone loves it or, some people are afraid of it, but I just am very interested in it.
Yeah, and I think, so much of that fear is around, the unknown. So if you don't start exploring and experimenting, you're never going to get past that. And you're always going to be wondering, what are the capabilities? What are the risks of using these tools? And I think that philosophy of being okay with failure, I think that's so critical for anyone in any leadership position because these tools are going to fail, but that's how you're going to make progress.
Yeah. Yep. And we have, I mean, in the last even just year, that's when we built out all these agents. And it's going quickly. Like AI is moving fast. I mean, we can barely keep up. I was thinking the other day, well, I need to sit down and do some more things because I feel behind and I just have not been on it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What do you think are some of the biggest challenges in higher ed when it comes to integrating AI?
Well, I think one is definitely fear. And not that there are not risks associated with this, but we want to protect our data. We want to protect student information. All those things are really important. But there is, some fear around that. I think also, and I talk about this a lot, I do feel that in higher education, the concept of shared governance has kept us from moving fast. We like to talk about things for a long time, and we actually don't have the time to do that with AI. It's moving too quickly. And so you have to be nimble, you have to be able to make decisions. And I think that that is a challenge for higher education. I think another challenge for higher education is that take a community college like mine, for example. We always used to just service the students in our community. Whoever wanted to come could come. There was really no competition. There is competition now. They can go anywhere and do online. They can get free tuition at other places. They can get financial aid. So really, we have to have the modalities and the customer service that they expect. I expect Amazon-like service. I don't know about you, but I want to order something and have it here right now. So we have to do that in higher education.
And so often we don't have the resources or the budgets to be able to do that, but AI can scale us a lot of times and give us the capabilities to handle more than, we could typically do. And, higher ed is always being tasked to do more with less and cutting budgets and reducing resources. So it really seems like the ideal time to start looking into some of these AI solutions. And, like you said, eyes wide open, like understand the technical limitations and the risks and biases. And if you don't know those going in, then you're not going to be able to prepare yourself to deal with them or to be looking for them as the tools are working.
Yeah. And speaking of scale, so the same issue with having 60% more students since 2021, how in the world would we have communicated with that student population had we not had the tools to scale that and scale it using personalization and individualization?
Right? Being able to provide the content that is specifically valuable to those individuals, I think is it's a game changer. It makes the students feel heard. It makes them feel special. It makes them feel like they're really cared about. And I think so many of the communications that we get are so generic and so
Mhm,
broad that they don't ever, relay that sense of belonging.
mhm. All the time.
What advice do you have for institutions who haven't started exploring AI?
Just try something. Try to go into Microsoft Copilot and get it to help you write emails or organize your emails, or go to Chat GPT and just ask a question. Because I'm so concerned about SEO and AI searching right now, I just looked up what is the fastest growing community college in the country. The AI search comes up with Johnston Community College and a couple of others. Wake, our neighboring school, came up, but then one in California, I believe, too. But just ask a question because, and honestly, right now, I don't think anybody isn't interacting with AI because you're searching and the first thing that comes up is AI. So that's how you get started. There are lots of resources out there, and thank you for doing podcasts on it, but there are lots of resources out there right now to help you get started in things. But I mean, just do one thing at a time. And honestly, we started small. I mean, we got our CRM, which at the time actually didn't have the agentic AI that it has now. It's evolved rapidly, but it didn't have that functionality. But we were like, okay, well, let's start with having it write an email campaign for us. That's the simple stuff, you know? So if you can just do that, prompt it to do what you want it to do, write 6 emails for this population, and we want them to know about this, it'll do it.
And the more you use the tools, the more you start understanding how to get it more data, how to
Mhm.
get it more information, how to get it more specific and relevant to you and your institution.
Mhm.
What are some of the more interesting use cases you've seen or heard about with AI in higher ed?
This idea of the individualization and having like the segment of one is really going to become the thing that we need to concentrate on. And we actually just listened to a student panel at the conference I was at last week. And every single one of them had they were in a different place in their lives. They all had a different story about how they got to community college. The one thing that they did have in common was that they always had a human connection. We actually talk a lot about at our school how we've integrated the human connection and AI. We still have a great group of humans behind the whole thing, watching the whole thing, making sure it's answering correctly, and jumping in when it doesn't. The idea that you can speak to each student, no matter how many you have, is really quite phenomenal and probably the best use case I see at the moment. Of course, there are lots of people who are way smarter than me who have really great use cases for it. But I think for me, it's just this idea that, oh my gosh, you could talk to an individual.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular the amount of granularity and personalization that you can get out of these tools. We know that higher ed is changing and evolving, maybe not at the same pace as AI, but we know that different groups are going to have to figure out how to integrate these tools, how to adapt and evolve our workflows because AI is going to be able to do certain parts of our jobs. What do you think marketers, admissions personnel, what can they start doing now to prepare themselves for how this is going to impact their jobs?
Well, as I kind of talked about in the beginning, I really see AI as a partner in our jobs rather than, oh my gosh, this is going to take our job. When we try to explain to some different departments, like, hey, we can automate this process for you. You don't have to do that anymore. And then you could concentrate on something else. They sometimes think, oh my gosh, well, then I'm not needed. And that's actually not true. I mean, I'll give you this example, which is not necessarily AI, but we have a couple of folks who spend a lot of time manually trying to figure out which classes transfer. Well, there's a software for that, and we can figure out how that system can do that for us while we spend our time on something else. So I think really to consider it a teammate. That's what I keep trying to say to people is like, let me build you a teammate. Let me build you another colleague so that it can be running in the background while you're doing other things, which is actually what our agents do. And subconsciously, I mean, we know that they're there, but they are working all day long. They're working after we go to bed. They're working on the weekends when we're not here. And we come in and we can see that data, but we're not thinking about that all day. It's true that they are answering questions and, you know, phone calls as well.
Yeah, and I think that idea of seeing them as collaborators, I think that's where a lot of institutions that I consult with, I go in and they're just looking to replace certain parts of their workflows, automate the repetitive tasks and the mundane tasks, which is a great start. But I'm like, the real goal is to figure out how to partner with these tools, how to train these tools to be kind of a digital twin for a lot of the work that you do, so now you can work back and forth and change the entire way that you do the work that you do. So now you can brainstorm things different, collect information differently, and then you can use all of those extra resources to help you make decisions along the way while still being able to, automate those data focused tasks or those repetitive tasks that don't really need the human contact constantly along the way, but you still have to go in and validate those, and you still have
Right.
to make sure that the tool knows where to go to get that information. So,
Yeah. And, how do you make it work for you? You're not working for it, it's
right.
working for you. And just before we started recording, I was saying that I could really use an AI assistant in my personal life to help me get things together. But my husband, he has an assistant. Her name is Kathy. And at first I was like, I'm sorry, who's Kathy? And he said, oh, it's my Chat GPT assistant. I was like, okay, cool. You can do that too, but how do you work this into your life? In fact, I remember you saying at a conference, about planning meals for your children using that. And because you have six, right? So
Yes.
that I don't want to even know what that's like to plan a meal for 8 people, but Chat GPT does.
That's right. Yeah. And I tell people all the time that using these tools for your personal life are great entry points to figure out how to use them in work because it's low risk. It's just your information
Mhm,
that you're sharing. And I probably have a dozen different GPTs that I use personally for all sorts of things that
mhm.
save me hours of time every month. So,
Yeah. We also have a paid version of Chat GPT so that our school's data is not being used to train the models. Our vice president of institutional effectiveness has been building crazy things in there. Python codes. I don't even know. I'm a words girl, not a math girl. But she's building great stuff in there that helps us take things from our data warehouse back over to our CRM so that we can use it to segment these students that we want to target with certain messaging. It all really works together. And we've had a great time and a great partnership working together on those things.
people always talk a lot about AI replacing humans, but I tend to find more and more instances where AI is creating more human connections. Like you were talking
Mhm.
about, employees saving time so that they can spend more time focusing on the students, and even staff finding ways to collaborate across the silos that higher ed is so well known for because they're trying to figure out how to use these tools. And the best way to do that is to share and have these conversations.
Yeah. And to be able to collect the information about the student as well in real time, we have, in my opinion, connected with them in ways that we never connected with them when we had mass communication systems.
Right. So where do you see AI going in the next year or two?
I mean,
I know it's
I can't keep up, can't predict, but I do think that we will see things evolve. I mean, I definitely think jobs are going to change. I don't think humans are going to be replaced by robots in all instances, but I do think your job is going to evolve. And I do think that for most people you're going to need to learn this. And I think we need to start teaching it as a skill to our students, to our employees, to make sure that people understand you're going to need this in a job. And if you are averse to learning that or really don't want to or are afraid of it, then you might be replaced. In some instances, I really need you to do this. Like it's part of the job now. We have to train and we have to let people know. But I think in the next, year or two, we're going to really see some jobs evolve. And I mean, look, you already see like jobs for prompt engineers and help the CEO with their AI agent. I mean, you already see things like that. And I think the people who are good prompt engineers, so they should listen to all your prompts, are going to be in high demand.
it's fascinating the way that we're always talking about how to make the students ready for the job market and ready for
Mhm.
the world. And if we're not educating them on how to use AI, we're doing them a huge disservice. And I just saw a statistic the other day saying that they did a survey in 2024 of higher ed employees, and they said that 34% of them said that their institution's stance on AI usage for staff would impact whether or not they wanted to stay with that institution. So if you're looking at staff retention, that could be a huge benefit for you if you're forward thinking about AI and giving people the opportunity to learn that technology. And they did the same
Yep.
survey in 2023, and it was only 1% So it's becoming a bigger issue.
That survey was the topic of my conversation with Mallory on Higher Ed Pulse. That's what we were talking about, that very survey and that data. It is going to be important for you to have those skills. And as I said to Mallory, you could look at it the other way. People may be so afraid of it that if your stance is that you have to use it in the job, they may not want to come. But I think in most instances, they are going to want to learn that skill. And of course, we have to teach people to do it ethically and responsibly. But I think it can be done. And yeah, you're right. I mean, that went up real fast in 1 year, didn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's going to continually to exponentially increase like that because people know if they want professional development, if they want to, establish themselves as experts in their field, they're going to have to know how to use these technologies. So one of the questions I always close with is what specific AI use cases are most useful and helpful to you, either personally or professionally?
I'm a former journalist. And so a lot of my career has been writing, whether it's print writing, video writing, storytelling. I do a lot of writing. And writer's block is a real thing. And we used to have to sit with that for hours or days and go, I don't have that word. I don't have that thing. I'm not ready to put out this release because it's not there. It's not coming to me. And so now I can go, hey, I am stuck on this. Can you please give me some ideas of what I can say next or finish this sentence for me? Give me some options. I think for me, that has been such a game changer. And I know it seems simplistic, but those are the things that save me time.
The blank page is like a huge barrier for so many things.
Yeah. And same thing for like graphic designers, right? I mean, creative block is real. So if you can put that in Canva AI and say, work this, I don't know how to change this right now. None of my team really copies and pastes things. They've got the idea, they've got the thought, they know what it's supposed to look like and say. So you do need that human, and you do need a human expert to know what it's outputting, right?
Yes. Yeah, the AI is still not good at making decisions about what's quality and what's accurate. So definitely need the human oversight at the end of the journey. Well, Carrie, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show and sharing your insights. If people want to stay in touch with you or connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
LinkedIn, I'm the only Carrie Pitts Dinsmore, I'm sure. But I think the actual URL is Carrie Pitts. But LinkedIn would be great. Send me a message. I always love hearing from people. And we do a lot of AI work over LinkedIn, people messaging each other and trying to figure out things. So lots of ideas there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for coming on. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Carrie's insights demonstrate how AI can solve real resource constraints in higher ed, saving 120,000 human minutes, which at 8 hours a day is 250 work days, almost a full year of full-time work. And they served 60% more students. So they really addressed the do more with less reality that many institutions face. Her observation about shared governance, slowing AI adoption, touches on a critical challenge in higher ed. While collaborative decision-making has value, the pace of AI development requires more nimble approaches. Carrie's success suggests that starting small with pilot projects and proving value through metrics can build the momentum needed for broader adoption. The concept of AI as teammates rather than replacements offers a powerful reframing for institutions struggling with adoption anxiety. By emphasizing that these tools work around the clock to handle routine tasks, human staff can focus on complex problem solving and relationship building, the work that truly requires human expertise. Carrie's point about teaching AI skills to both students and employees highlights an important shift in professional development. As survey data shows, institutional stances on AI is increasingly affecting employee retention. Forward-thinking institutions that invest in AI literacy may find significant advantages in both recruitment and retention. Please reach out to me with unique ways that you're integrating AI into your professional and personal lives. And as always, blue skies and keep creating.